Welcome everyone to Whimsy Woven Stories. Here, we explore gripping tales of real-life twists. Join our storytelling community.
Why am I not satisfied? I have a wonderful husband. I mean, Derek loves me with everything he's got. Of course I love him, have for years. He's a great provider, super supportive, and the girls absolutely adore him. He's the kind of guy everyone loves being around. Even our neighbors always come to him for help with tech stuff, and trust me, they ask a lot. I never once suspected he'd be interested in anyone else. He's never even flirted with another woman. And when it comes to the bedroom, Derek almost always makes sure I'm taken care of. He actually gets upset if I don't finish. Honestly, he's the best lover I've ever had, and I've had a few before we got married, so I know what I'm talking about. But here's the thing, I realized my experience is over 20 years old. And for most of our marriage, I never even thought about being with someone else, at least not until what happened with Roger. As I got closer to 45, and with our girls nearly out of the house, I started craving something I didn't expect, validation. Not from Derek. He always tells me I'm beautiful, even more than when we first met. But I see myself in the mirror. My breasts used to be perky, no, not so much. Wrinkles are showing up where smooth skin used to be. I have to dye the grays in my hair. My butt is bigger than it used to be, it doesn't fit in my favorite chair like it once did. Sure, I can still look good with some makeup and the right outfit, but for how long? I started fantasizing, wondering what it'd be like to be with someone new. Sometimes when Derek and I had sex, my mind would drift to movie stars, handsome guys at the office, younger men who gave me that thrill. I started dressing differently, shorter skirts, bras that gave me a boost, an extra button undone. And people noticed. The compliments from guys at work picked up. Then there was Roger. He'd been flirting with me at work for years, but I never really thought about it seriously. Until one day, when I was feeling especially bold, maybe reckless. I teased him, half expecting nothing to happen. But he didn't buy it. The second we were alone, he locked the door to my office. All those pent-up feelings I'd been pushing down? They exploded. I didn't think, I just went for it. We tore off our clothes, cleared my desk, and it just happened, fast, hot, and wild. And it was incredible. We were insanely lucky no one caught us. We got dressed in record time, he left, and I just sat there in shock. I wiped my face, sprayed air freshener, reset the desk, and tried to act normal. But it took me a solid hour to snap out of it. What was supposed to be a one-time thing didn't feel over. We both wanted more. And we both knew that first time was way too risky. We started planning another secret hookup, and once again, we managed to satisfy each other without getting caught. But sneaking around just wasn't enough anymore. That's when Roger brought up an idea. What if we went on a 2-week cruise together? No one around to recognize us, no one to tell on us. Just us, alone. I spent a lot of time thinking about how I'd break the news to Derek. How could I explain being gone for 2 weeks without raising suspicion? I figured I'd go with a half-truth. I'd tell him I needed a temporary separation to reconnect with myself, something like a midlife reset. I'd say I needed time to think about our future, talk to new people, have fun, and maybe explore new experiences with others. Of course, I'd say Derek could do the same while I was away. After 2 decades of marriage and only ever being with me, maybe he'd even appreciate a break. Though honestly, I doubt he'd date, let alone sleep with, someone else. He loves me too much. He'd probably just wait for me to come back. He might sulk a little, and I might have to promise it won't happen again, but I know Derek, he'd endure just about anything to keep our marriage and family together. And let's face it, a divorce would be expensive for him. He'd take a hit financially, and he knows it. That's why I'm confident he won't do anything rash over my little spiritual journey. I fully plan to return home and be a devoted wife again after the cruise. In fact, I'm already looking forward to showering Derek with attention, sex, love, the works. I figure 2 weeks of wild, no-limit sex with Roger will be enough to satisfy whatever part of me is restless. After that, maybe I won't need to see Roger again, or at least not for a long time. If I still crave more after that, we'll just have to find a safer way to keep seeing each other. But I'll need to avoid him for a few months once I'm back. I can't risk losing everything. I want my future with Derek, our kids, grandkids, and retirement. We'll have to be very careful from now on. All that was left was approaching Derek at the right time, when he was in a good mood. Later that night, Lydia and I had a session, something kind of like making love. I say kind of because I could tell her heart wasn't really in it. Oh, she went through the motions, moaning, whispering sweet things, but the forced finish almost made me laugh. Still, she got me there, which I guess was the goal. We were lying on our backs when she finally brought it up, exactly what I'd been expecting. Derek, you know I love you, right? Here it comes, I thought. Finally. I was ready. Yes, sweetheart. And I know you love me too, right? Of course, babe. If there was something I really needed, something to help me, really help me, you'd let me do it, right? Of course. What is it? She took a deep breath. My whole life, my identity as a wife, a mom. I need to reevaluate everything. I think the only way I can really do that is with a short break from my role here. A temporary trial separation. I think all of us, you, the girls, could maybe use a break from me, too. And when I come back, I'll be rested, refocused, and ready to be the best wife and mom I can be again. I stared at her, silent for a second. Then I got up and walked into the hallway. Girls. Wake up. Come down to the kitchen, now. Okay, Dad. We're not asleep yet. Lydia looked confused. Derek, what are you doing? Why are you calling them down? There's no need to bring the girls into this right now. We still have a lot to talk about. I turned to her calmly. Lydia, our daughters are part of this family you just announced you want to step away from. They're old enough to understand what's happening. We need to talk about this as a family. We all deserve to speak, to understand what this means. I walked downstairs to the kitchen, ignoring her protests. I made myself a cup of coffee. I didn't offer her one. Lydia looked shaken, like she hadn't expected this reaction. Derek, you're blowing this way out of proportion. I'm just asking for a little personal space. Yeah, by leaving with your boyfriend, Roger. We all know, Lydia. She looked stunned. Roger? Why are you bringing him into this? He's just a friend from work. No, you're trying to figure out how to sleep with him without sneaking around and still keep us as an option. We know what's going on. Even the girls know. What are you even talking about? I'm just saying I need a break, a little time for myself. Well, when you take a break from your responsibilities as a wife and a mom, we call that a divorce. Not a trial break. Not a marriage vacation. Just a straight-up divorce. Derek, you're blowing this way out of proportion. There's no need to talk about divorce, it's just 2 weeks. September, that's all. I turned to the girls. Why do you have your suitcases? I'm really sorry, girls. I couldn't wait. Then I said to Lydia, why don't you explain things to your daughters while I grab my suitcase? I headed upstairs, but I could still hear the conversation happening in the kitchen. Lydia was saying, girls, your father misunderstood what I was asking for. Alicia answered first. Just be honest, Mom. We've known for months what you and your lover have been up to. I seriously have no idea what you're talking about. Eddie jumped in. Yeah, we're talking about those Wednesday lunch dates that turned into quickies, and now you're planning a full-blown cruise with Roger. Roger? What? You don't know anything about that. I've never done anything like that. Roger's just someone I grab lunch with sometimes. Alicia cut her off. Oh, really? Remember the first time you and Roger decided to have lunch in the executive room? Dad got a call from your office saying no one could find you. You and Roger were way past your hour-long break. When you finally got home that night, you fed Dad some lie about a work dinner and said your boss picked you up. That wasn't a lie. I was in a meeting with Mr. Albright. The secretary must have messed up. You know she's not very reliable. Eddie fired back. Since when did Roger become your boss? In a hotel room? Please. Anyway, Alicia continued, that's when Dad decided to hire a private investigator. We've seen the videos, the photos, everything. It's true, Mom, Eddie added. And honestly, this guy Roger? He's not even half as good looking as Dad. Lydia's face twisted in shock. How dare you talk to your mother like that? How dare you do what you did and still expect us to see you as our mom? Alicia snapped. I could hear the anger in Lydia's voice now. If your father suspected something, why didn't he just confront me? He should have stopped me. Because he knew it wouldn't change anything, Alicia said. He told us if he tried to stop you, it would only pause your cheating. Next time, you'd just get better at hiding it. He still should have said something. If it upset him that much, it means he doesn't care about whether I enjoy someone else's harmless attention or not. Why is he suddenly so jealous? No, Mom, Eddie said firmly. He didn't say anything because he needed time to meet with a lawyer and accountant. He wanted to make sure you couldn't take him to the cleaners in a divorce. He didn't want your affair or his anger to cost him everything. Yeah, Alicia added. He told us everything a few weeks ago. He showed us the video. What we saw and heard, it was disgusting. Eddie and I told him we were on his side. And Dad explained, Eddie continued, that modern divorce laws always favor the wife, even when she's the one who broke her vows. So his team spent the last few months protecting what's his. Alicia smirked. Bet you didn't know that thanks to all of this, Eddie and I now have fully paid college tuitions. Lydia blinked. What? That must have cost him a fortune. Where'd he get the money? Then she paused. Oh, I get it now. He knew. I'm not even gonna try to get my college fund back. What your dad did, it's just plain cruel. And you too? You were in on it with him, weren't you? No, Mom, Alicia replied firmly. You and your boyfriend are the ones who betrayed this family. You either expected us to turn a blind eye to your affair, or you figured you'd just tear everything apart and walk away with a chunk of Dad's money. We were just trying to protect ourselves. And honestly, that's a big job, especially trying to cover for you. Eddie smirked. Big mess, big cleanup. They both chuckled, but I came downstairs dragging my suitcases. Lydia looked stunned. Derek, please, she said, panic in her voice. Can't we just all calm down and talk this through? I know I screwed up, I do, but I never wanted a separation, let alone a divorce. I'll tell Roger it was a mistake. I'll cut him off for good. I never meant to leave you. I wanted a little excitement. Some fun. That's it. Too little, too late, sweetheart, I said calmly. From what I hear, you and Roger already paid for your little love boat cruise. You better enjoy it, because things are going to get a lot tougher for the two of you once you're back. What are you talking about? She asked. Well, first off, I said, you'll be handling all the chores and responsibilities by yourself from now on. The girls and I? We're moving out. Dad, which apartment did we end up picking? Alicia asked, already excited. Hopefully the one with the hot tub, Eddie added. It was still available last time I checked, 2 days ago, I replied. We might have to crash at a hotel for a night or two, but I'm pretty sure it's ours now. The girls were buzzing with excitement. Second, I continued, I doubt you'll be alone for long. Roger's gonna need a place to crash since his wife's kicking him out. Wait, what? Lydia blinked, thrown off. Yeah. Turns out Roger's wife, Em as he calls her, didn't take the news too well. I met her almost 2 months ago. She's been quietly preparing for this exact moment. I called her while I was upstairs earlier. Apparently, her brother's on his way to help her pack Roger's things and toss them out. But Roger told me she didn't care. That they were divorcing and she was fine with our cruise. No, Roger told his wife he had a 2-week internship in California. She called his boss. Guess what? No such thing. And oh, what a coincidence, his boss is your boss too, right? You didn't. She started. That brings me to number 3, I said. When you two lovebirds come back from your trip, don't bother returning to work. Your boss and I had a little chat. He's been waiting on my signal to let both of you go. He already found replacements. He can't do that. Roger and I are top performers. You and Roger are liabilities. Your behavior gives him grounds for termination and opens your company to a lawsuit. Em and I offered to drop the suit if you two were fired. He was thrilled. Lydia started crying. It wasn't supposed to be like this. No, it wasn't. You were supposed to be a loyal wife and mom. We were supposed to grow old together, spoil our grandkids, maybe retire somewhere warm. But you chose to lie, cheat, and throw that all away. I can't believe you're treating me this way, she sniffled. I thought you loved me. Oh, I did. I loved you enough to trust you. But you burned that trust down. And since you're wondering what's next, if you try to fight the divorce, a heavily edited version of your little hotel room adventures might just land in the inboxes of your parents, coworkers, and neighbors. Who knows, maybe even a lower-end adult site. Though let's be honest, with Roger's equipment, it probably won't get many clicks. This can't be real. Derek, I love you. I always came home, didn't I? I just needed a little space. In a month, things would have gone back to normal. No, they wouldn't. You had chance after chance, every time you picked Roger over your family, every time you lied, every time you skipped out on being a wife and a mom. You didn't want forgiveness, Lydia. You wanted freedom without consequences. Well, here they are.
Derek's voice. 3 months ago, this marriage still meant everything to me. That's when I realized it didn't mean the same to you anymore. Maybe it never did. Lydia, you hurt me deeply. I was so depressed I had some very dark thoughts. If it had just been you and me, maybe I would have given in and let you win. But I thought about our daughters and decided that, through my actions, I'd teach them what not to tolerate from a future husband. I thought about a normal divorce, but the idea of not seeing my girls whenever I wanted snapped me back to reality. When my lawyer told me that even with your cheating, the divorce might still work in your favor, something in me switched. I decided I'd do everything I could to make sure you and Roger got the least out of this, legally and emotionally. I think you'll soon see we did a pretty good job. Now listen, Lydia. You can't just say, Derek, you can't leave with the kids. I'm their mother. The court's going to have a say in this. If you accuse me of kidnapping, go ahead, but be ready to prove it. Maybe you're right about some things. But my lawyer and I decided to wait until Eddie was old enough to legally choose where she wanted to live. Alicia already signed a notarized statement saying she wants to stay with me. Sure, you could force Eddie to stay with you, but I doubt it'll go well. Yes, Mom, what do you think happens if I live with you? I'll probably start acting out, skipping school, maybe even doing drugs or messing around with boys. If that doesn't work, I'll say your boyfriend Roger made inappropriate comments and you backed him up. So yeah, we're ready. You clearly weren't. You thought this trial separation would just scare me, that I'd beg to come back after a few months and things would return to normal. No harm, no foul. But I didn't want a divorce. I just wanted you to realize that a divorce was a steep price to pay for a fling. No, I don't know what to tell you. Honestly, it's not my problem anymore. You should probably start figuring out how you're going to keep up with the bills without a steady income. Sell the house. You'll get half the equity, and that should hold you over until you find a job. Lydia's POV. As Derek and the girls were getting ready to leave, the phone rang. It was probably Roger, desperate for a place to stay. I told Derek not to let him touch any of his things, except me, of course. But they left before I could say anything else. Hello? Lydia? We've been found out. They just left. Damn it. This isn't how you said it would go. I never should have believed you. Hey, I didn't seduce you. You jumped on me in your office. Sure, I was tempted, but you were on fire. There's no point arguing now. We need to figure out how to fix this, our jobs at least. Can I come over? Them kick me out. I can't afford a motel. Fine, but hurry. I need sleep. Maybe we'll figure out something tomorrow to save our jobs. Can you come get me? I don't have my car keys, and I'm not going back to deal with them again.
Narration. That night was the last time we were together as a family before the divorce hearing. Lydia disappeared after that. The house sold quickly, she took her half of the equity and drained our savings and checks. Maybe out of spite. I didn't worry. Most of our money had already gone to prepaying for the girls' college. My half of the house came out to about $20,000. Years ago, we took out a home equity loan to build a deck and patio, so there wasn't much equity left. I used that money to replenish our emergency fund. With my steady income and no alimony, I didn't really need anything from her. Because she vanished, I waited a year to finalize the divorce. That way, she couldn't come back later asking for money or trying for custody. I had no interest in reconciling. Roger surprisingly stuck around. I heard he picked up some low-paying job and lives pretty modestly. Em told me she's now engaged to one of her divorced neighbors but isn't in any rush. As for me and the girls, we're doing well. They're both in college now. Alicia graduates next year, and Eddie might graduate in 3 years unless she joins the Marines. They keep in touch with their mom through Facebook, but they don't tell her anything about me and don't tell me anything about her. Just like I asked. I'm still at my old job. I've got a casual relationship with a divorced schoolteacher. Now that both our kids are grown, she'll probably move in soon. We haven't talked about marriage, but we're committed to each other. Honestly, my sex life has never been better. She's on birth control, and we use condoms. I'm not taking any chances, especially not with Lydia still lurking around. Lydia's thoughts. Derek won't let the girls tell me anything about him. It's like those 20 years of marriage never happened. And I was a good wife and mom, damn it, I really was. I worked hard at home and at my job. My money, along with Derek's, helped keep the house running, the bills paid, and the girls taken care of. I didn't feel guilty taking the rest of the money. Not after he blew the savings to prepay college. Honestly, that was a brilliant move on his part. How could I argue with that? I'm not the kind of person who chases money just to hurt someone. But maybe I was the kind of person who deserved some of the fallout. Did I deserve everything that happened to me for 3 stupid months after being a good wife for 20 years? No. It wasn't even 3 months of cruelty, just 3 months of dumb decisions. Roger wasn't even that great. Most of his appeal came from the thrill of sneaking around. Once I faced the consequences, his value dropped to 0. Then he said I owed him because I ruined his marriage and wanted to move in. That's when I realized I had to leave town. I'd become that woman, the cheating wife, the liar, and with video proof. I was sure everyone knew. I couldn't trust Derek not to show the footage and humiliate me. He went from Derek to Dr. Doom overnight. I hoped leaving would give things time to cool off, and maybe Derek would take me back. So here I am. I have a good job now, still in finance, working at a hospital, explaining to patients why they still owe money even with insurance. My old boss was honest in my references. My new boss hired me, but said if there's even a whiff of drama, I'm out. I've got a small apartment, nothing fancy. I don't go out much. I spend too much time on an online support group for women who got dumped for cheating. Honestly, I got off easier than most of them. And yeah, I still look good. Derek knows I can be a good wife and mother. Does he really want to jump back into the dating pool at his age? I'll wait. Maybe the girls will eventually soften and talk to their dad for me. Derek's prepping for divorce. I'm prepping for reconciliation. I spend a lot of time reliving the good years, songs, pictures, smells, they all take me back. And yes, I cry. A lot. I can't believe Derek doesn't. Especially when he's with the girls. So many of his memories of them have to include me. He must miss me. We meant too much to each other for me to be forgotten. Derek, please, find that part of your heart that still loves me, that wants to forgive me, that wants to give me a second chance. I swear I'll never betray you again. I was stupid to throw away 20 beautiful years. I just hope you won't be stupid enough to throw away a lifetime over one mistake.
Thanks for listening. Share your opinion in comment section and also do like and subscribe to the channel.